The pupil is a passage. In my last video, the focus was on meteors coming out of the pupil of the black sky eye, but there are other such examples, such as the eye-covered lanterns of the church servants, or the ranged attacks of the witches of Hemwick. Though it is clear enough what comes out of the pupil, I haven't yet covered what goes into it. Vision is all about light, and as such, the eye is a receptor of it. Biologically, the pupil is a hole that takes in light so that it can pass into a lens and be focused onto the retina, and it appears black because light rays entering the pupil are being absorbed by the tissues within the eye. But if light itself is a source of arcane energy, what does that mean for the eye as a receptor of light? For the answer to that, we need to return to the concept art of the Moonflower Gardens. I went over these flowers briefly before, but I want to go into more detail on them now. They open at night and they're called Moonflowers, lumen being Latin for light, so they're obviously flowers that absorb moonlight. They're inverted sunflowers, and similar to how sunflowers take in the sun, Moonflowers all face the same way as they follow the moon to absorb the light. However, these flowers are also evocative of eyes, and in the center of the flower there is what appears to be a black hole. This is the pupil of the flower, and it's where moonlight enters to imbue the flower with arcane. But it's also where it exits to imbue or attack those nearby with arcane. So an open eye is like an open flower, and the more one has, the more arcane they can give and receive. Though in the final game the flowers are closed, so perhaps they went back on the idea, or perhaps instead they're closed for another reason. In the concept art of the Moonflower Gardens, they are open to absorb the moonlight, but unlike the hunter in the concept art, when we enter the Moonflower Gardens, it is under another kind of moon. Clearly the red moon has a negative effect on Yharnam. It was hanging low on the night of Old Yharnam, which led to its destruction. In a Byrgenwerth note, it's written that when the red moon hangs low, the line between man and beast is blurred, and we see that in characters like Gilbert. So it can be said the red moon spreads beasthood, and beasthood is a consequence of the scourge. In the hunter's dream, the note that tells us how to escape, we're told, "To escape this dreadful hunter's dream, hold the source of the spreading scourge of beasts, lest the night carry on forever." The source of the scourge and the length of the night are described as though they are linked, so whatever is spreading the scourge is also keeping the night carrying on forever. In Yahar'gul we find a note that reads, "The Mensis ritual must be stopped, lest we all become beasts." And at the end of our hunt, we put a stop to the moon beckoning ritual of Mensis. It is following that Goemon allows us to be freed from the hunter's dream. So what spreads the scourge must be the moon, and in particular the red moon. So returning to the question, why are the Moonflowers closed? Many characters in Yharnam cover their eyes with bandages as they hunt. In my previous video we went over how the scourge is the erosion of one's reason, and that the destruction of one's pupil is symbolic for the destruction of one's reason. So as Yharnamites cover their eyes from the moon to ward off the scourge, the flowers in the Moonflower Gardens close to ward off the decaying influence of the red moon.